I never know what to say in those bios, so I'm like, go Broncos, yay! Everyone's like, what are you talking about? The meal my brother and I requested more than any other when I was growing up was steak and French fries. It's the one I miss the most. If my mother never cooked anything other than steak and French fries when I was a child, I would have been the happiest, fattest little Belgian girl in the world. You see, my mother was a sorceress of sorts, with wicked powers that would capture your heart, mind, and tummy. Unlike other sorceresses, my mystical, magical mother, Madeline, cast her spell on you in ways you'd never see coming. Her wand of choice, a spatula. She had the power to entangle you in her web of tastiness so easily that you find yourself consuming foods you never heard of, wanted to hear of, or ever imagined that you could or would digest. As they passed your lips, the unknown and unusual suddenly became your new favorite food. A taste of cow's tongue, a swish of Madeline's magical spatula, and you were entranced. Blood sausage with the blood still dripping down your chin. Swish, exquisite. Raw hamburger spread on a fresh slice of French bread with a dash of salt and pepper. Swish, delightful. Or perhaps a sweet, cuddly bunny rabbit, scalped, seasoned, and lovingly tossed into a boiling hot pot of water. Swish, tastes just like chicken. It doesn't taste like chicken. Growing up in my house, if you sat down to a meal, no matter what you were served, you knew it would be delicious. You would consume way too much of it because my mother would never let you not have food on your plate for a moment, and you would hope you would never be able to eat again for a year. The sad thing is I did not inherit my mother's ability to cook. When I attempt to make a steak the way she did in a pan with a whole stick of butter that never seemed to burn, salt, pepper, and a large hunk of meat, it just never tastes the same. The steak's always burnt on the outside and raw on the inside, and plus the seasonings are never right, which I really don't get because Madeline and most Belgians like her don't do spices. I mean, in 95% of the meals, it was salt and pepper, period. I mean, if she was feeling a little saucy, she might throw some garlic in there. That was only on very special occasions. And yet somehow, even with only the salt and pepper, her steak would flavor your mouth that you thought there had to be some special spice thrown in there. And then, because in Belgium, gravy is a must at every meal, including breakfast, my mother would take the butter steak juices and add some water and swish it out around in a pan, and suddenly you had the yummiest, greasiest gravy ever created. I mean, it had to be thousands of calories, but she'd drivel it on the top of your steak the way a violinist would gently rub her instrument before she dived into a concerto, and you couldn't help but call out, "Bravo, Mama, bravo." And I haven't even mentioned the French fry yet. My mother's deep fryer looked like it lived through World War II right along with her. Completely worn out from all its use, it was spattered with grease and juices and handprints and God knows what else, but inside was a beer-infused batter that turned every potato into a rapturous French fried delight. As heavenly as my mother's steak was, it was nothing compared to the French fry. I kid you not, we would do battle for these fries. There was only my mom, dad, my brother, and I at most of our daily meals, but we were each a connoisseur of the fry. It didn't matter that my mom had a never-ending stash of peeled potatoes waiting to be deep fried. As soon as the bowl with the fries hit the table, you lunged for a handful with all your might, even if only moments before They were immersed in scalding hot vat of grease. Even if the skin on your hand felt like it might fall off the bones because the French fries were so insanely hot. Even if this was your 5th or 6th helping of fries. None of that mattered when you knew that the other people at the table in a matter of seconds would devour every single one of these salty, splendiferous fries if you didn't grab hold of them first. Let's just be clear, Belgians don't fuck around when it comes to their fries. Nowadays, you always hear people saying it's sad that families don't sit down for a meal together anymore, that the connections and bonding done at mealtime seem to have gotten lost. Well, I kind of think that's a load of crap. In my house, dinner lasted 5 minutes. We didn't talk, we ate. We ate a lot, and very, very, very fast. You didn't hear, how was your day, dear? You just heard, Ma, can I have more fries? Seriously, it was like we inhaled the heavenly meals my mother prepared, probably spending hours creating, and then we washed it down with a glass of milk and left. We bonded in the fact that we all loved to eat my mother's food. I'd like to say that it was that love that flavored my mother's food. Love was the reason it tasted so good. But that seems way too corny for my family. We were not what you would call outwardly affectionate, but there was something built into us like a hereditary Belgian gene that bonded us for life. And my mother's food was the rite of passage. It was in our DNA. It was the Band-Aid you put on every wound. It was the medicine you took every time you felt sick or weary. It made you feel strong before you went into the battle of life. It was all of my mother that was mixed into every single bite of what she cooked. It was all her kindness, frustration, anger, generosity, fear, and yes, even now and then, a dash of love. And although my mother, the sorceress, will never cast her spell on me with her spatula, not in this lifetime again anyways, I am still marked by her inside and out. I wear the mark of Madeline with pride and unending appreciation, but food will never taste as magical again.